But I'm telling you right now that it is real, that it is painful, it is brutal. And I'm standing here before you, willing to take the hate, willing to take all the negative messages and tell you that I beg you to wake up, to speak out, and to not...
Imagine waking up, checking your phone, and realizing your own spouse just allegedly dropped receipts that put you, your boss, and an entire political empire under a microscope. Yeah, this isn't a Netflix trailer. This is the internet's new favorite rabbit hole, the alleged leaks from Mikey McCoy's wife and what they might say about Erika Kirk and TPUSA's Chief of Staff. Before we dive in, quick disclaimer. Everything we're talking about today is based on publicly circulating claims, commentary, and alleged leaks online. None of this is proven in court. We're not accusing anyone of crimes. We're breaking down what the internet is saying for discussion, analysis, and entertainment only. Got it? Cool. Let's get messy. Today we're going through 10 facts the internet is obsessing over about this alleged leak. And trust me, by the time we hit number 10, you're going to be side-eyeing every tribute video you see. Let's get into it. Fact number 1, the late night post that blew everything up. This whole thing didn't start with some big press conference or official investigation. It started the way modern scandals always do, a random late-night post from an anonymous-looking account that allegedly turned out to be linked to Mikey McCoy's wife. No long thread, no explanation, no here's my 45-minute story time. Just what looked like private screenshots, an audio clip, and one chilling caption, "They all know." 2 seconds later, the internet did what the internet does best. It lost its mind. People started zooming in on the timestamps, reading every line like they were decoding national security files. And the vibe was instantly clear. This wasn't some random fan theory. This felt like someone inside the circle cracking the door open. And if that already sounds wild, wait till you hear what was supposedly inside those messages. That takes us to fact number 2. Fact 2. Erika already knows. So inside those alleged leaked screenshots, there's one line that grabbed the internet by the throat and refused to let go. Erika already knows. 4 tiny words, but in a story this messy, they hit like a full-blown plot twist. We're not talking about some long emotional paragraph, not a dramatic confession, not a 17-text rant, just a clean, cold sentence dropped in the middle of what looks like coordination messages. Stuff like, everything is ready, stay calm, make sure the cameras are still rolling, and then that chilling line, Erika already knows. That's the moment the internet stopped treating this like gossip and started treating it like evidence. Because if that line is real, it doesn't sound like someone looping her in after the fact. It sounds like someone reassuring the group that the person at the top of the emotional food chain is already in on something. And that's the problem. Nobody knows what she allegedly already knows. Is it just event logistics, crowd size and security plans, a vague things might get heated today, or something way darker? The kind of knowing that keeps people up at night. The internet, being the internet, did not go with the innocent interpretation first. Creators started breaking it down like a crime board headline. If Erika already knows, and this chat allegedly happens before the big moment, and the same chat mentions things being ready and practice, then what exactly is everyone so calmly prepared for? That's why those 4 words became basically the title of the conspiracy. People clipped it, screen capped it, started using it as a hook in video titles and threads. Erika already knows turned into a slogan for suspicion. It flipped her image in real time, from shocked widow reacting to tragedy to central figure who might have allegedly had advance awareness of something behind the scenes. Online sleuths then layered that phrase on top of everything else. Her composed eulogy, her calm public appearances, her sudden position in leadership, her repeated public praise of Mikey. When you look at all that and then add Erika already knows on top, people stopped seeing her as someone who was only reacting and started wondering if she was someone who had been briefed. Whether that's fair or not is a different debate, but in the court of public opinion, context is everything, and timing is the prosecutor. Fact 3, the timestamps that won't shut up. The moment people started comparing the alleged leaked messages to the actual video timestamps, everything blew wide open. Suddenly, those random looking screenshots turned into a synchronized timeline that lined up a little too perfectly with the event footage. You've got messages that allegedly hit mere minutes before the cameras show Mikey calmly lifting his phone, turning away, and walking off stage like he already knew the scene was about to change. And when viewers realized the timestamp timestamps in the chat matched the real-world timeline down to the minute, but somehow didn't match any version given by TPUSA or Erika. The internet collectively said, okay, no, this isn't coincidence. This is coordination wearing a trench coat. It went from rumor to pattern, from pattern to puzzle, and from puzzle to full-on digital investigation in record time. Once that discovery hit, people didn't just analyze the timestamps, they became obsessed with them. TikTokers were zooming in like they owed the timeline rent money. Redditors were syncing moments like senior editors at Netflix. Twitter detectives were posting side-by-sides screaming "the minutes match" like they'd just solved the Zodiac cipher. And the wildest part, the timestamps didn't support anyone's official explanation. Not Mikey's dad's story, not TPUSA's PR spin, not even Erika's emotional retelling. No matter which story you believe, the timestamps refuse to cooperate. They sit there loud, stubborn, and petty like, I said what I said. And that's why this part of the story just won't die, because the timestamps don't whisper a mystery. They scream, somebody isn't telling the full truth. Fact number 4, the phone call that everyone suddenly remembers differently. When the internet realized everyone had a different version of the same phone call, the entire situation flipped from tragic event to unfinished detective novel. According to Erika, Mikey apparently called her within literal seconds of everything happening, a detail she repeated with the confidence of someone reading from a diary entry. But then TPUSA jumped in and said, no, actually he wasn't calling anyone. He was just filming social videos and covering his ears because it was loud. And just when people were processing that contradiction, Mikey's dad popped into the storyline like a surprise guest star and claimed that Mikey called him first. At that point, viewers weren't even confused. They were entertained. It was like watching 3 people describe the same movie they clearly didn't attend together. Meanwhile, the timestamps and footage quietly whispered, y'all are lying on somebody. Once people replayed the video of Mikey already holding his phone to his ear before anything even happened, the whole internet collectively leaned back like, so who exactly is jogging the truth here? Because none of the stories matched the footage. Not Erika's emotional version, not TPUSA's polished PR version, not Dad's heroic retelling. It's like everyone got handed the same script but accidentally printed different drafts. And that's why this phone call won't shut up. It doesn't just create suspicion. It creates a timeline black hole, pulling everyone's narrative into one giant contradiction. Add in the alleged leaked messages popping up with timestamps that line up a little too perfectly, and suddenly this isn't a phone call anymore. It's a plot twist begging for a part 2. No matter who you believe, the one thing everybody agrees on is this: the phone call is coming back in the sequel, because the story isn't done talking, even if everyone involved is trying really hard to be. Fact 5, the slow-mo footage that turned everyone into CSI. The slow motion footage is what officially pushed this story from weird timeline into, okay, now it's getting spooky. Once viewers slowed the clip down, everything Mikey did suddenly looked suspicious, like he'd rehearsed it in front of a mirror. Instead of panic or confusion, you saw this oddly calm pivot, a smooth phone lift, a casual turn away from the stage, and lips moving just enough to suggest a call already happening. People online froze the frames like they were analyzing body cam evidence. Some even mapped his walking path like investigators on a whiteboard. And every new slow-mo angle came with its own theory. Was he signaling someone? Was he receiving instructions? Why does his face look the same before and after the moment? Viewers were whispering, normal people don't stroll away like they're going to refill their iced latte at a moment like that. What made it even funnier, in a dark internet way, is how dedicated people became. Grown adults with full-time jobs were spending their weekends watching grainy footage at 0.25x speed, zooming in until each pixel looked like a Minecraft block, and every frame they uncovered added another layer of suspicion. When Mikey's face didn't flinch, people said, that's a man who already knew what chapter we were in. When his phone was already at his ear, they said, why is this giving prepared speech instead of shocked witness? Then the angle from behind the tent dropped, showing him sliding out of the shot like someone avoiding a group photo, and the internet lost it. Suddenly it wasn't a clip anymore, it was evidence. Not legally, of course, but in the theater of public suspicion, that slow-mo became the star witness. And that's why it won't die, because the more you watch it, the more your brain screams, something here is off. And I can't tell if it's the timing, the tone, or the fact that everyone looks like they're in on a script nobody told us about. Fact number 6, the who did he call first timeline chaos. The phone call timeline is where the entire story goes from confusing to full-blown mystery thriller. Erika says Mikey called her within seconds, painting this high-stress moment like a scene from a dramatic Lifetime movie. But before anyone could even say, okay, that makes sense. Mikey's father pops out of nowhere and announces that his son actually called him first. Suddenly, the storyline turns into a family reunion episode gone wrong. And just when viewers thought the contradictions had peaked, TPUSA slides in with the boldest take of all. He didn't call anyone. According to them, he was just filming content, sending videos to group chats, and covering his ears like a man shielding himself from fireworks. 3 people, 3 versions, 0 match. Meanwhile, the timestamps quietly exist in the background whispering, "Somebody is lying," loudly. But the real comedy begins when you add the footage into the mix, because once the slow-mo detectives of the internet synced the video with the alleged leaked messages, the truth became about as subtle as a siren. Mikey's phone wasn't ringing, it was already at his ear, and his lips were already moving. That suggests the call wasn't some reactionary moment of panic. It was already happening before the chaos even started, which means none of the 3 official versions are even in the same zip code as the video evidence. Viewers online started joking that Mikey's phone call has more timelines than the Marvel multiverse. And honestly, they're not wrong. The more the explanations pile up, the more suspiciously choreographed they start to sound. Because in this story, the call isn't the problem. The 4 competing versions are. And that's why fact number 6 refuses to die. It's the contradiction that exposes the whole puzzle, and the internet is not ready to let it go anytime soon. Fact number 7, the overnight PR makeover. The overnight PR makeover felt less like damage control and more like someone had hit upload all from a crisis communication Dropbox folder. One day, people were asking why Mikey McCoy looked too calm in the footage, and the next day, he was suddenly starring in emotional tribute videos with soft piano music and slow-mo walk cycles. It was the kind of shift that didn't feel natural. It felt orchestrated, more like a celebrity scandal cleanup than a genuine response. Every platform flooded at once with glowing statements about Mikey's loyalty, character, bravery, and love for Charlie Kirk. Viewers immediately noticed the timing. These heartfelt tributes only appeared after the alleged leaks dropped. The makeover was so sudden, so polished, and so synchronized that it practically screamed, "We need to fix this narrative before the internet asks more questions." And the funniest part, the harder they tried to paint Mikey as a misunderstood hero, the more suspicious people became. It was giving, "We promise he's innocent. Look at the lighting in this video" energy. Comment sections lit up with jokes about how Mikey had just gotten the kind of PR glow-up usually reserved for celebrities caught cheating. Even people who hadn't been following the story were suddenly asking, why is this man getting a motivational montage? The timing was too perfect to ignore. It was like watching a brand rebranding itself in real time. And instead of calming the internet, the makeover became its own red flag. Because when an organization goes from stone cold silent to releasing carefully scripted tributes overnight, it doesn't feel like transparency, it feels like spin. And in this saga, spin is the last thing making people feel better. It's the thing making everyone scream, okay, now something is definitely up. Fact number 8, the wife who allegedly leaked and then vanished. The moment people realized Mikey McCoy's wife was the one behind the alleged leaks, the entire tone of the story shifted from messy drama to full-blown thriller. She wasn't a random outsider with a grudge. She was someone inside the inner circle, close enough to see the cracks before the rest of the world noticed. And her leaks didn't sound like someone stirring the pot. They sounded like someone finally breaking under pressure. But what made the internet freeze wasn't the screenshots or audio clips. It was what happened after. Within hours, her social media presence was wiped clean, posts gone, accounts locked, comments disabled. It wasn't a quiet retreat. It was a digital disappearance so abrupt it felt like someone pulled a switch. One night, she was posting cryptic warnings, and the next morning, it was as if she'd been erased from the storyline entirely. And the internet, being the internet, didn't react calmly. People immediately went into conspiracy overdrive like, oh, she leaked the receipts and now she's in witness protection. Memes popped up comparing her to the character who exposes government secrets and suddenly moves to a cabin in Montana. Even casual viewers were confused, asking, why did she disappear faster than the truth in a political scandal? The timing was way too perfect to ignore. Right after her alleged leaks went viral, the PR machine activated and she vanished like someone who accidentally unlocked a boss level she wasn't supposed to enter. Whether she was pressured, threatened, protected, or simply overwhelmed, nobody knows. And that mystery is exactly why fact number 8 refuses to die. Because in every great scandal, the whistleblower disappearing isn't the end of the story. It's usually the chapter that tells you how deep the whole thing really goes. Fact number 9, every tribute now sounds like a script. The tribute started off beautifully. Soft music, heartfelt words, quiet tears. But as more speeches rolled out, something about them started feeling off, too clean, too rehearsed, too identical. It was like everyone suddenly downloaded the same emotional script and hit play at the same time. People expected raw grief, shaky voices, unexpected pauses. Instead, they got polished pacing, dramatic pauses that hit like punctuation marks, and perfectly structured quotes that sounded like they came from a brand workshop, not a heart in mourning. And the more these tributes appeared, the more viewers whispered, "Why does this sound like a PR-approved monologue?" The emotional beats aligned so perfectly that even casual observers couldn't shake the feeling that someone backstage was coaching every line. What made it even funnier, in that we shouldn't be laughing but we are, internet sort of way, is how the tribute slowly turned into what felt like auditions. Comment sections filled with jokes like, "Is this grief or a table read?" and "Blink twice if you memorized this last night." Every tribute circled back to the same themes, the same phrasing, and the same oddly theatrical tone, as if everyone had been handed a script titled Approved Feelings version 3.2. And instead of calming suspicions, the overly perfect delivery made everything worse. People weren't listening to what was said. They were watching how it was said. The steady voice, the polished posture, the Hollywood-level emotional control. And in a saga already filled with contradictions and missing puzzle pieces, these scripted-sounding tributes didn't just raise eyebrows, they raised alarms. Because in real grief, people crumble. But in this story, everyone sounded ready for a TED Talk. And that brings us to the final piece, the big picture, fact number 10. Fact number 10, the pattern people are scared to say out loud. Here's where the entire story stops feeling like a messy timeline and starts looking like a pattern. The kind of pattern nobody wants to be the first to say publicly, but everyone is secretly thinking, because when you zoom out, the conflicting phone call stories, the suspiciously perfect tributes, the overnight PR makeover, the wife who leaked, then vanished, the strange calm composure, the sudden leadership shifts, the unresolved silence from key people, the synced timestamps, the staged sounding speeches. You stop seeing isolated moments. You start seeing repetition, and repetition is never random. This is the part that freaks people out, because individually, each event could be dismissed as coincidence, panic, or poor communication. But all of them together, it looks like a system, a method, a formula. Fact number 10, the pattern people are scared to say out loud. Fact 10 is the part of the story that makes everyone sit back, stare at the ceiling, and whisper, okay, this is starting to look like a pattern, because once you stack every piece of this saga on one timeline, the vanishing wife, the contradictory phone stories, the overnight PR makeover, the slow motion walkaway, the eerily scripted tributes, the whole thing stops looking like a coincidence and starts looking like a strategy. 1 moment is an accident, 2 is weird, 10 is a blueprint, and that's exactly why the internet got so quiet and so loud at the same time. People didn't want to say it openly, but they all felt it. The same sequence repeats itself every time something inconvenient pops up. First confusion, then contradictions, then silence, then PR, then a reshuffling of roles, like a crisis playbook written by someone allergic to transparency. The funny part? Nobody wants to admit they see the pattern, but everyone's talking about it like it's Voldemort, the thing you don't name but definitely fear. Comment sections are full of people writing, "I'm not saying it, but I'm saying it," because once you connect the dots, the picture is impossible to ignore, and each new tribute, timeline correction, or leadership announcement only makes the pattern clearer, like the organization accidentally left its strategy guide open on the table. Suddenly, the polished speeches feel less like grief and more like rehearsed messaging. The disappearing accounts feel less like privacy and more like pressure, and the public silence doesn't feel respectful. It feels orchestrated. That's why Fact 10 unnerves people the most. It suggests the chaos isn't chaos at all. It's choreography. And once viewers realize they might be watching a performance instead of a tragedy, the whole narrative shifts from mystery to something far more unsettling, something that might have been happening long before anyone noticed. If you're still here, you're a real one. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think these alleged leaks are just messy, emotional screenshots getting blown out of proportion? Or do you think there's a real pattern here that people are trying very hard to keep under control? Drop your theory in the comments. Do you believe the "it was all confusion" camp or the "they knew more than they're saying" camp? Hit like if you want more deep dive breakdowns like this. Tap subscribe if you're into politics meets celebrity drama with actual receipts. And ring the bell so you don't miss the next episode of this ongoing saga. Because in a world where everything is spin, sometimes the silence is the loudest part of the story. And right now, a lot of people are listening.